music for me has to be a vulnerable and organic process, and it has to be built on intention. I find that if music is forced, it's not creatively rewarding for me. And the music has to speak to me first, because if it doesn't speak to me, then it's not going to reach who it's supposed to reach. Music has a purpose and a story. And my story is self. Self represents my journey through healing and through self-care. And I believe it's so important as an instrumentalist to share some of my experiences through mental health. Self redefines who I am through care, love, and reflection. Self is going to be described through 5 instrumental canvases. And those who are familiar with my music know how important it is for me to be able to share my story through instrumentation and through musical melodies. And for those who are not familiar with my music, they have an opportunity to see through my lens how I share my stories as a musician, and also they get to see and hear some of my experiences through this healing journey. So behind every talented artist, there is a talented group of people who help to bring out the best in that artist. And I had an amazing team of people who were able to understand my vision for this project. I had my producer partner, Caleb Gathright, Adam Pondang, who's my engineer, PDM, who is my photographer, videographer, Emily Keefe, my PR, and Macklyn, Dion, who featured on one of the songs. So, I present to you self, self-care, self-love, self-reflection. So one of the things that I've learned through my healing journey was to listen to my body and take the time to reconnect with myself through body, mind, and spirit. At times, I've struggled with anxiety, I've struggled with stress, I've struggled with worry, just like everybody else. But the hardest thing for me was finding ways to work through those things. Growing up in a Christian household, my parents always used to tell me all the time, if you have worries and if you have issues, so just ask God and pray about it. And that's great, because I did take the time to, in my personal time, talk with God and just express to him how I'm feeling. But in addition to that, I felt for myself it was so important to be practical about how I can navigate through those things. So some of the things that I found that helped me navigate through anxiety, worry, and stress was journaling. Growing up, I would always have a notebook that I would write in, but I found that when I got older, I wasn't really using my notebook. But because I'm so in my head, I found that writing out my thoughts and writing out my feelings really helped me release. I would also go out and enjoy nature, so whether that was taking walks through the woods or walking near water and having that moment to myself where I can breathe and I can release everything that I need to. And as a former athlete, exercise is something that's important to me as well too, and I found that that releases a lot of the anxiety and all of the negative feelings that I feel, and I put that into my workouts. And the last thing was something that I was introduced to and something that I never thought that I would do, but yoga. And what I would do is I'd go on YouTube, and I believe I was using yoga with Adrienne, because she's the one that really helped me get into yoga, because I'm not a yoga person. I would often go on there and I would just choose something that I wanted to work through, whether that was like my neck or my back or any tension that I was feeling, because I find at times that I feel tension in certain parts of my body, which again, this goes back to me saying that I need to listen to my body, because when I go through anxiety and I go through stress and I worry, certain parts of my body start hurting. So I found that yoga was really amazing in helping me not only make those areas feel better, but also I was able to just release all of that anxiety and that built up tension. I'm someone that cares, loves, and supports and goes hard for people. And sometimes I do that even to the detriment of myself. Giving everybody all the energy and not receiving the energy back but doing it and neglecting myself in the process. I've learned through this journey that it's so important to make sure that I am my best self so that I can be my best self for other people. And if I'm constantly pouring out all this energy to everybody else, how can I be my best self if I'm neglecting myself in the process of showing care, showing love, and showing constant support, and not even giving it back to myself? That makes no sense. So what I've had to do is, first of all, realize that I'm important and I matter, and my self-care and my healing and my mental health matters, and I have to make myself a priority. So what I started doing was, I'm still gonna care and I'm still gonna love people, but I'm no longer gonna do it at the expense of myself. So if I've had to learn to channel the same care, the same love, and the same support for others back into myself, because I have to be my best self for me so that I can be my best self for other people. Sometimes it's hard to accept the negative aspects of ourselves because we know that those things don't define us. But through my journey, I've had to learn to accept all parts of myself. Not just the positives, but also the negatives, because I understand that I'm somebody who's continuing to learn, to grow, and to change. And I have to be okay with every single part of myself, because according to God, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's important for me to be okay with how He's created me to be. Because I understand that I'm not a perfect person. And I'm always going to be in a process of learning. And I'm always going to change, because this life that we're in is a journey and not a destination. I had the opportunity to work on this song, Comfortable, with my friend Macklyn, Dion. And he's going to give you a little bit of insight on how this song resonates with his journey. Take a look.
Hey everyone, my name is Macklyn and I'm a music artist based in Roanoke, Virginia in the United States. I had the honor and pleasure of working with Desarae Dee on her latest single, Comfortable. The lyrics to Comfortable were so important to me for many, many reasons. One big reason being that they relate to me. It is a song that I feel also relates to many people in many ways. Because we're in a society that encourages us to place our identity in a lot of things we do, and to go, 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 to not really rest, to not think about self-care, to not take time just to be. And so this was an opportunity for me to write an encouraging thing to myself, to just be, but also to many other people who sometimes don't know how to just be, or a society that encourages people just to always be on the run. And it's hard because we don't ever really know how to just be with ourselves. And so this song is a way to encourage people to not just be with themselves, but to be comfortable with where they are, and ultimately with where the Lord has them. To know that they're still taken care of, that they're secure even when they're not moving. Because their identity was never in just how much they moved. They had an identity in Him. And so I'm very, very grateful to be able to write those lyrics as a reminder for myself and a reminder for other people listening.